Hi folks, I'm Matt and welcome to My Expanded Universe, a show where I go through the entire EU in chronological order as best I know how. Ooh, folks, do I love me some Bantam era, right? So here I am going from one novel to the next, and it's not even a trilogy, or is it? Folks, today I'm reviewing Kevin J. Anderson's Darksaber book, which is technically book 2 of the unofficial Calista trilogy. It's called the Calista trilogy because he and Barbara Hamley had a plan to have a big story arc over Calista's character. Now, by the time Darksaber had come around, I'm pretty sure they knew that the fans were not so happy with Calista. So basically, here's how her story kind of goes. And by the way, this is going to be full of spoilers here, but I do love this book. And I need to also preference that the only reason I'm giving spoilers is because later on in a book, it's going to kind of lead into what happens at the end of Darksaber, kind of gets picked up and continued later on. Anyway, let's do this. First off, Luke and Calista's storyline. When Calista re-inhabited the body of Cray, there's one thing that happened though. She lost all connection to the Force, which is really bad, right? Because that's how she and Luke built their connection. It was through the Force. Well, now that's not there. Now Luke doesn't care because he's still in love with Calista, Force or not. But she feels incomplete without the Force in her life. And she doesn't think she's worthy of being Luke's girlfriend if she doesn't have the Force. And so together they're going on a journey to find a way to get her connection, or reestablish her connection back to the Force. Now, Luke also references some Tales of the Jedi is referenced here because, of course, Kevin J. Anderson was helping out Veach with the storyline there, and they know how Ulic Qel-Droma's story ended with Nomi Sunrider cutting him off from the Force. So they talk about that story. Luke recants that history and says, hey, what can we talk, is there any way that they, reverse that? And as far as the books or the scrolls go, we don't know. We haven't seen this before happen. Or how do you get your connection back to the Force? So Luke takes her to all the places that we see in the movies. First, he takes her to Tatooine, and there, I swear, I looked it over right before I did the review, but I swear there was a scene in there where Luke ponders on what happened to Wendy and Cammy and Fixer, but I couldn't find it, but I swore it was in that book. Anyway, they go back to Tatooine. He's trying to connect with the ghost of Obi-Wan to see if he'll help. When that doesn't pan out, they go to Dagobah because, maybe Yoda left something, or maybe he's there to give some clues to help out. When Dagobah doesn't work, they go to Hoth because, hey, why not? No, seriously, how they get to Hoth is irrelevant, but the story that happens at Hoth is really awesome. They meet some big game hunters. And what are they hunting on Hoth? Wampas, of course, duh. And so Luke and Calista are with these big game hunters, win, and they're inside the old abandoned Echo Base. Echo Base is basically in shambles, really, because after the Empire kind of ransacked the place, it's kind of dilapidated, but it's still around. So that's where the game hunters are kind of camping out, but unfortunately they get attacked by Wampas. Yes, this is like aliens in Star Wars. I mean, the Wampas are just going everywhere and they're going nuts. They're killing dragon hunters away. It's really cool. And it basically plays off of a deleted storyline from Empire Strikes Back. Folks, if you don't know, Mark Hamill had a wreck right before filming and he had a scar on his face. Well, how do we explain the scar on Luke Skywalker? So very quickly, they came up with the story of Wampas. And that's why he clawed Luke's face. That's how they can explain Mark Hamill's scar in Empire Strikes Back. So they kind of got, George Lucas kind of got too carried away with the storyline. He said, well, hey, let's make Wampas an integral part of that beginning, story arc at Hoth. Because on top of the Empire invading the Echo Base, Wampas are also attacking. Now, if you have the Blu-rays, you know that there's deleted scenes of Wampas attacking. Now, eventually, Ivan Kershner cut it because, one, he thought it was irrelevant to the main story arc, and plus, they were having a hard time getting those Wampas to look good instead of goofy, which if you see the deleted footage, yeah, they do look kind of goofy. Now, I'd always heard they thought about doing the storyline. I never knew there was deleted footage until I saw the Blu-rays on it. But Kevin J. Anderson also knew about that deleted storyline. He said, hey, that's a great idea. to put in my novel. So what he did is he put that Wampas scene in there. He said, okay, let's do that scene. Let's have Wampas attack Echo Base. And they're dragging off and killing people left and right. Now remember, Calista can't really help Luke because she is disconnected to the Force. However, they find out that she can access the dark side of the Force. Oh no, that's not good. That's a little awkward too. But anyway, Luke and Calista are on the run, and I told you, Kevin J. Anderson about these moments, right? These moments in time. And one of the great moments is Luke pauses because there's a Wampa coming at him, and he's going to catch up with him, and he's going to get Calista. Well, Luke pauses, and then it says he jumps backwards, ignites his lightsaber, and slices off the head of the Wampa, lands perfectly back in the snow, and speed forces back up to Calista. I can just see that in my head. I'm like, oh, that is awesome. Reading it, I was like, this is awesome. You know, it was such a cool moment in Star Wars. Now, eventually, Calista is going to leave Luke because she thinks that I am not worthy of you, Luke. Luke is heartbroken reading this letter, but Calista's like, look, I gotta walk this journey on my own. Let me figure something out. If I can find a connection to the Force that's not the dark side, I will come back to you because then I'll be worthy of you. Luke thought she was worthy as is. It's a beautiful love story. Why wouldn't you love Calista and Luke together? I love Calista and Luke together. I love it. And I was upset too. I was like, no, Calista, come back. Now, Kevin J. Anderson, for right or wrong, I don't know if he did on purpose or, to screw with the fans or whatnot, but because everyone was asking for Mara Jade and Luke, Kevin J. Anderson put a scene in there where Luke calls Lando, and Mara Jade answers the comm, and she's not dressed. I mean, she's kind of like in a robe or something, or wearing his shirt or something. She's like, oh, hi, Luke, let me get Lando. And it's to make you think that Lando and Mara Jade hooked up. And I was like, yeah, baby, go get him, Lando. Yeah, you sexy cat, you. Mara Jade may resist Luke Skywalker, but not Lando Calrissian. Now, fans were outraged. I mean, climbing up the walls angry at that scene. Timothy Zahn himself was furious that Kevin J. Anderson had written that into Darksaber. So furious, in fact, that he purposely went out of his way to retcon that in his next novel, saying that Mara Jade was on a mission with Lando, and that was not the image she wanted Luke to have of her, because she would never go for someone like Lando. And I was thinking, why not? It made perfect sense to me. Mara Jade wanted to kill Luke forever. Now they've agreed, I don't want to kill you, we're done, but we're not going to be together. And I like that idea. I like that they could never be together. And why not Lando step in? I think he's the perfect match for Mara Jade. He can smooth over her rough edges and kind of make her better. At the same time, Mara Jade can whip Lando into shape. I thought they'd be great for each other, but I am, one of one people probably of EU fans who love that. I think I'm the only one, besides Kevin J. Anderson, so I'm one of two. But fans were outraged by that scene. Me, I was like, yeah, Lando. That's the only time you see Lando, though, too. So anyway, though, that's what's going on with the Luke story. Now, let me back up and let me talk about Admiral Dalla. Yes, she's still around, and she is so sick and tired of all these squabbling warlords. The warlords can't figure out who wants to be in control. They all want to be in control, but they all can't. Admiral Dalla and Vice Admiral Pelion, who's still around, are still very important keys, but everyone wants to tell that Imperial Navy what to do. And so Dalla fixes the whole problem. She kills all the warlords. It's a great Godfather scene where she just gasses them all. And she brought them all together to kill them all off. It's basically Kevin J. Anderson's way of saying, okay, guys, this whole warlord squabbling thing we've had going, the storyline we've had going for a while, let's end this. Let's make it unified. And so she unifies the Empire. She takes control of the Empire. So now, no longer not just Admiral, but now she rules the Empire with Pelion at her side, which I thought was a nice touch. And she takes the Imperial fleet, and they go and attack the Jedi Academy, right? Those pesky little Jedi. They foiled me last time. This time, I'm going to teach them what's up. So she brings a whole invasion, Imperial invasion to Yavin 4. Now, the students, while Luke is away, they have to fend for the Academy by themselves. And folks, another great scene I remember is Streen. Streen has this awesome scene where he's up on a temple roof top. TIE fighters are swooping down and they're firing at him. The wind blows. His robe he lifts the hood of his robe. He grabs his hands like this, and he catches both the TIE fighters and slams them together with the Force. It was great. Streen is a very underutilized character in the expanded universe. I really wish we could have seen more of him. But I remember that scene vividly in Darksaber. It's fantastic. It's a fantastic scene. Eventually, though, they're being overwhelmed. So the Jedi students say, hey, we need to send a force blast up to that invasion and just scatter them. I mean, just wipe them out. So the only way they can do that is to use Dorsk 81. Dorsk 81 volunteers himself, sacrifices himself, says, hey, use me as a conduit. Pour all your force into me and I will shoot it up to the air. And they're like, you know, you're going to die. And there's a great scene because Kip doesn't want his friend Dorsk 81 to die. And Dorsk 81, of course, says, hey, this is my purpose. This is my gift. This is what I'm supposed to do. This is how Jedi are supposed to act. And so, of course, they do that. It burns out Dorsk 81. He sacrifices himself. He's dead. It is kind of sad, but it just obliterates the Imperial Navy. So here we go again. Dala makes a brilliant move. She has moved up in the world past her prior mistakes from the previous novel, yet she almost single-handedly ends the Empire right then and there by making another snap decision that she didn't think through. Don't worry, Dala's going to be fine. She's going to recover as she always does. But I remember after reading that, I was thinking, Dala again? And I realized, you know, I really don't mind her. She keeps making mistakes, but she's always coming back, getting better and better, and learning from them. Again, Dala, one of my favorite bad guys ever in the expanded universe. So that's kind of the story of what happens with the Jedi Academy. Dorsk 81, another death, you know, in the family of the Jedi Academy happens, and we're all sad because of it. Now, what about Darksaber? What is Darksaber about? Well, then we have to shift to Han, Leia, and Chewie's storyline, where Durga the Hutt, yes, there's a Hutt, and he is trying to make a grab at power real quick. And so what he does is he has the blueprints to build a stripped-down version of the Death Star. He calls the Darksaber, right? Because it's just the gun part. Almost like the Galaxy gun from Empire's End, if you ask me. It's the stripped-down version. Doesn't have the hyperdrive, doesn't have the shields, doesn't have all the bells and whistles that a Death Star has, but it's something he can just build real quick and fire anywhere, just some big gun to get power in the galaxy. Well, the New Republic is well aware of this, and they're going out of their way to stop him. And one of the people they send is Crix Maydeen. Now, you may remember Crix Maydeen from the movies. He's in Return of the Jedi. He was also, there's a lot of scenes filmed with Crix Maydeen that got deleted because originally they didn't know if the Admiral Akbar puppet, you know, the mouth and everything was going to look really good on screen. And they said, just in case, let's film all the scenes with this guy here, Crix Maydeen, so we can switch it out if Admiral Akbar doesn't work out. Thankfully, Akbar worked out, so a lot of Crix Maydeen's big time moments at the end of the battle in Return of the Jedi just didn't get to be seen until, of course, the Blu-rays came out. But anyway, Crix Maydeen, a movie character, we all know who he is. A lot of us had his action figure back in the day. He's really awesome. Secret agent man, going in there to infiltrate Durga the Hutt's people, and of course he gets busted, his whole team, and they're about to get executed and everything. And you're like, oh no. Well, don't worry, because the New Republic knows where Durga's at now. They're coming after him, you know, guns ablazing. Durga doesn't know this. Crix Maydeen has an idea that they're on their way, but they just need to hold out just for another second. You're thinking, okay, well, they're going to be fine. No, they die. Crix Maydeen gets shot through the heart by Durga, and as he is dying, oh, by the way, spoilers, should have said that. So anyway, as he's dying, he sees while his vision is going dark, he sees the ships coming out of hyperspace to rescue him. And it says that's the last thing he sees. His eyes go dark, and you're going, did they kill a movie character? And you are blown away by this. Remember, Kevin J. Anderson tried to kill off Mon Mothma a few years back with his Jedi Academy trilogy. He got the no on that, but he got the okay on Crix Maydeen. And it was really wild because that was the first time we thought we had seen a character from the movies die. It was not. I got corrected a few years back by saying, actually, Matt, I think it was General Veers, right? And I was like, Veers? When did he die? I totally forgot he had died months earlier in Dark Empire 2. The comic book killed off Veers. Now, I did not remember that. General Veers was in the AT-AT and Empire Strikes Back. And yes, he did technically die first. He was the first official movie character to die. So Dark Empire 2 actually has that title. However, Veers is a bad guy. He's not really well known. Crix Maydeen maybe would be a little bit more memorable, and I remember it was very impactful too, because you didn't think they could kill someone off from the movies, especially one of the good guys, right? So that, you know, Crix Maydeen is now dead, you're like, oh my gosh. they didn't save him in time. Don't worry, now Durga's going to be defeated, the Darksaber is going to be destroyed, yada, yada, yada. Everyone's going to be home happy. But that he got to kill off a movie character like that you thought were untouchable. The EU characters, yeah, they can come and go, but man, you kill off a movie character? What? It was really good. Now, this book got number 3 on the New York Times bestsellers list. However, it is one of the most hated books by EU fans. A lot of fans do not like Kevin J. Anderson. Again, they don't like him because he's Kevin J. Anderson. They don't like him because Timothy Zahn said, I don't like him. They don't like him because of Calista. They don't like him because of Mara Jade and Landa. They really didn't like him for that. They hate the super weapons thing, which again, they say, oh, another super weapon? Which, of course, I've argued why that is not a good argument to have. However, for some reason, just fans did not like it. And I can't imagine why, folks. There are so many memorable scenes, good scenes in this. That's why I went into kind of more detail than I usually do, because these Bantam novels are just really good. They're chock full of great stuff. And Darksaber, out of the Calista trilogy, is the best book out of the Calista trilogy, in my opinion. I think it really is fantastic. Would it be in my top 10 books? I don't know. Maybe at the bottom of the 10, but definitely in my top 20 for sure. I know that. Anyway, folks, that is all the time I have for now. See you next time with another review.